Good morning, everybody. I am Bart Winkler, and today's episode will be with Grant Bills and Paul Imig. And Paul will ask questions, and we'll say, or we'll say, And I am going to skip any monologue I might do and just get into the questions.
No monologue?
What?
I think at this point of the week I've gotten everything off my chest.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, it's a short week, so you got to speed up the process. We have to.
We got game Thursday night.
Yeah, we fit days of reaction in a smaller window because we got to get to preview mode. Extra. Quick.
And I thought this might be like a Martin Short appreciation intro. As per our text thread, but we can save that.
And to be clear, we all are short heads. So
Is that a Martin Short fan?
I knew you were.
I would have thought that would make us shorties. Shorties.
Yeah, I don't know. My wife's got his book.
There's a Martin Short book. I did not know this.
Oh, everybody's got a book. I'm writing a book.
All right, so let me ask this before we get into the questions. Bart, you said it's very hard. You had mentioned in our text. It's okay for me to say this. You mentioned it's hard to get you to do like a legit like ridiculous outward laugh, like from a show or something. Like it's hard to earn that. I'm tough to earn from that too. The last time I remember doing that, and Grant, I'm going to ask you if you can recall one. So think hard if you've had one. 15 years ago, I'll never forget it. 15
years ago?
No, but seriously.
I'll forget when I laughed at a show.
No. When I had like a seriously like over ridiculous reaction that I couldn't control. And it was when I first watched something related to Between Two Ferns with Zach Galifianakis. And I could not contain. I didn't know what to do. Like I was like medically concerned because I couldn't catch my breath. I was ROFLA. I was rolling on the floor laughing for real. Martin Short in Only Murders in the Building got Bart to do that recently. Grant, have you had an experience like that?
Well, I wasn't medically concerned. I just chuckled, Paul.
But you said it was to the point that a spouse was a bit concerned for you and thought you were doing a bit. So that's
well, she's just like what? Because I never laugh during shows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're a tough sell. I
think things are funny. I'm laughing on the inside, as they used to say.
Interesting.
Grant, have you had one of these moments?
I laugh at a lot of things. I laughed last week. I was watching the show What We Do in the Shadows. Very funny. But I had like a laughing attack. It was probably a year or two ago when I watched Always Sunny for the first time, and I watched their musical episode.
Musical episode.
The Nightman Cometh. I laughed pretty damn hard during that. That was probably the last time I really had a good laugh out loud Stitcher type laugh.
I once tried It's Always Sunny. I never got into it. Like that and Seinfeld are probably my two. Like
Paul,
am I missing out?
Yeah,
I tried it once, but now that I know there's a musical episode, that might bring me back.
I mean, don't start at the beginning. The first season it looks like they filmed it in a microwave. Like you can't.
Well, I like that. I like that charm. But then, so what happened was FX aired the show, and they were on like the edge of canceling it, and they said like you need to add something. And Danny DeVito was a fan.
Okay.
And he's like, they asked him. He's like, yeah, I want to be on the show. And then Danny DeVito just goes. I mean, he's one of the more unreal characters of TV ever.
Mm-hmm. So is that what season is that approximately? And is that
2? He joins in season 2.
Oh, they were only going to get the one season. Okay.
Yeah.
So should I start there? Because I did start season 1 like 10 years ago, and it didn't click.
Oh, yeah. You got to watch it.
Okay.
I
will.
Yeah.
You do. I make the rules. Seinfeld. You watch Seinfeld too.
You're Seinfeld. Come on.
Like Seinfeld has aged in a way where it's not going to get me to like spit out my drink laughing, but it's still very good. I don't know.
Again,
start with the episode, The Marine Biologist, and go from there.
For Seinfeld?
Because that's the first time that all the plots.
My issue with Seinfeld and Cheers and other like
Cheers. Now we're shitting on Cheers.
You just hate 4th of July.
I'm not going to shit on it. I'm going to say that anything that had the laugh track, it broke my brain.
Sure.
I just couldn't deal with it.
Didn't you watch comedies growing up?
Like I watched like Married with Children, which had the live studio audience that my dad watched.
Everybody Loves Raymond, King of Queens. That era of TV is just such a treat.
Did not watch those.
Yeah, King of Queens is good.
And now King of Queens is back.
It's actually
back.
The meme has brought it back.
It is back.
I want to try to meme something from Everybody Loves Raymond. I was looking at pictures yesterday. I couldn't find any.
It was. Oh, no. I'm going to the doctor today. Finally, I can get a fucking appointment.
You already had an appointment.
Yeah, it didn't help.
Well, I was actually going to compliment you after you did your good morning, everybody, that like it was cough free. It sounded pretty clear.
Can we talk about sports, man?
Let's talk about sports, man. All right. I asked you last week about the Ryan Wood Twitter conversation, the guy, and capital T, the capital G guy.
I thought about you. I thought about that.
Good. I have a follow-up.
Gabe, Jen, Chewy show. They asked the question. They said they had a poll. Would you extend him right now?
Interesting.
I think 3 out of 4. I think I could go look it up. I think it was an overwhelming. Yeah.
Was that after week 2 or after week 3?
This was on Monday.
So after week 3. Okay.
Yeah.
Overwhelming. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that's interesting. What I wanted to ask you was last week, I think
63% say yes.
Said they would. They said if they wanted to steal the bet.
Yeah.
So the question I had for you, so last week after week 2, after the comeback loss, you both said you were not ready to anoint him the guy, give him the guy money, that you were feeling good, but like the guy would make you like a top 8 quarterback. And I think we kind of settled that he was probably somewhere in like a Daniel Jones tier at the moment, right? I mean, don't let me mischaracterize what you guys thought. The fourth quarter of Sunday's comeback win was the guy quarter from Jordan Love. Like that was capital T, capital G. Give him the 5 years, 200 million. Make him a $40 million, $45 million per year quarterback. That was the guy quarter for Jordan Love as you watched it. Grant, you made a face that tells me you might be leaning a certain direction, but or because keep in mind, the guy.
I could go first, but Grant made a face, and you.
I thought it was a
by radio rules. You said Grant's name, so he's got to go.
It was a the guy.
Even though on the Dan Schani YouTube stream, my box is more of the leader position. And do you like today's background? I'm back in front of the green screen. I'm back in my green screen era. This is Granddad's Bluff, but circa like 2018 when I was last up there. Lacrosse. Grant?
The guy quarter. He definitely had the goods, capital T, capital G. But why did then we have to turn around and pay him $200 million and $40 million a year? That's I don't want to do that. We don't have to do that yet.
No, you don't have to, right? This is the pulse check though, Mr. Bills. This is the pulse check.
Yeah. I think this is what I keep saying on my show. I think Jordan Love has played basically the same game 3 times. Like within 5, 10, 15%. It's very similar. He didn't have an awful game week 1 and then took a big jump, or like he didn't have an amazing game and then fall off a cliff the next week. I think he's played 3 very solid games. And this last Sunday, he just happened to make some of his best plays down the stretch. And that wasn't the case against Atlanta right now, whether that was his fault or not.
Yeah.
So I think totally, 100%. I don't then know what to say, to turn around and pay him, X dollars a year. I'm not even thinking. That's not even on my radar.
Some people have floated out the idea that Jordan Love should take the Packers for every cent they're worth, or try to get a bigger contract elsewhere. How about that?
Who's some?
I saw one take. I forgot whom.
That's some. There you go.
Well, I mean,
that's in like if I had that opinion,
Mhm.
Then and I interviewed Jordan Love. I'd say, yeah, Jordan. Some people are saying, I've heard some chatter, Brian Gutekunst, that people think that Jordan Love should.
One could make the argument.
How do you address those concerns?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Grant, if you had taken Gabe, Jen, and Chewy poll, you would have said no. You would not. Like, again, the Packers do not have to make that decision right now. They do not. They have him. They re-signed him before the season started. He's under contract. This is not a concern for next season. He's going to make $25 million next season, I think, which is obviously well below 40 or 45 million. So no, the Packers do not have to make the decision right now. But Grant, if you would have taken the poll, you would have said no. Do not. Like, if you had to make the decision right now,
I probably would have said yes. I am just not the type of fan or media member whose response to everything is pay the man. Like, I don't know, Rashawn Gary's got a great game. It's like, pay him. It's like, that's never my thing to go on and tweet, like, pay him, extend him, give him all the money. I don't know. Call me a purist. I just like to watch the game for the sake of the game without thinking of dollars and cents all the time. Maybe I want to get out of that frame of mindset for just a couple of hours while I watch my team.
Well, that definitely makes you and I different in that regard, because I'm just thinking, like, okay, if you give Jordan Love this amount, and then you can give Rashawn Gary that amount, and then they can trade Bart this offseason. So our brains are functioning, not surprisingly, quite differently during the game.
That's okay. We're the yin and yang to each other, Paul.
And actually, the more yin and yang is, I don't think, Bart, I have ever had as strong of emotions about anything as I did as you did, Bart, during the Packers game on Sunday. Like, watching you tweet through your feelings and then listening to your post game, I was like, you have such strong opinions and strong feelings that I just,
about what?
About
LaFleur
and just the whole game and the team and the everything. And I was just trying to understand what it would be like to watch a game with that level of emotion. And
I've not adjusted yet. I've not adjusted. I've not adjusted to understanding, and I've said it and I've told people, but I've not adjusted as a fan to understand that these games are make or break to get the number one seed.
Yeah, and I admittedly, like, I'm a robotic sports viewer. I don't know if sitting in the press box behind the glass for too long just like destroyed my brain and didn't let me process it, other than like in an analysis mode. But it was interesting to live that vicariously through you, Bart.
I want to circle back to something, but you guys keep do this.
Well, I'll answer the question.
I was going to kick it back over to you, Bart. Jordan Love had the guy quarter. He is becoming more and more getting like closer to you, anointing him the guy, giving him the guy money. Mm-hmm or mm-mm.
I feel like Granddad's bluff behind me like brings out a sense of youth in my face.
The lighting's good.
Yeah, I like it. I'll answer the question right after these words from happyplacehemp.com.
All that just so you could do a read? Okay, go.
Happyplacehemp.com. Well, I like to do it around the 13-minute mark, and that's where we're at. I have to get Blue Wire commercials in at a certain time, but I also like to get the Happy Place Hemp discussion in very early in the show, as they are incredible supporters. And so I want to make sure, even if someone listens for 15 minutes, that they're still aware that the deal is happening. The 25% off, it ain't go nowhere. It's at happyplacehemp.com or Happy Place Hemp, the store, where they make all their gummies, all their products right in the store. They make them there, and you can go there and talk to them. And then you might panic. You might panic because you'll be like, I'm about to make this deal. Where do I enter the promo code? I can't enter the promo code. And then Chris or Rob will say, how'd you hear about us? And then you say the Bart Winkler Show. And then they'll give you the code. That's how it works. You can check them out in Muskego. Happyplacehemp.com, gummies, the THC. I had a dream about them. I took the purple gummies last night, and then I had a dream I took a red one. That's the Delta 8. Cool. So I was taking gummies in my dream, and the promo code is still the same. 25% off, happyplacehemp.com.
Do you think Jordan Love is the guy? Capital T, capital G?
I would like to reference a few things that I've seen as I
please
sidewind my way into the answer.
This is definitely a sidewind. Go for it.
I've seen two accounts that I'd like to mention. One, I need to talk to this individual. I shouldn't mention him here, but I need to talk to him. He runs the account NFL Outdated. His name is Andy. He's been on my show. He's the Bears fan I talked to this summer, and when I was thinking the Bears might be good.
It was a good eye on the enemy. I remember that.
Oh, I do want to read this from Matt in the Falls. He said he was listening to the show, and he had sent me a note. Is there a time in the episode where you will acknowledge Justin Fields will be in the XFL in 2 years? So it's not looking good.
Looking good.
My QB1 that draft was Justin Fields. My QB1 another draft was Baker Mayfield. I'm done with the QB1 talk, I think, is what I need to be.
But you know who you can thank for that Justin Fields? You can thank Mike Clemens' number one coach, Luke Getsy.
I think the Bears are ruining him. I've said this, but the same way that Draymond Green got absolute best scenario, Jordan Fields. So anyway, this Andy guy, he's tweeting, Packers are going to go 6-11. Love sucks. They'll have a new quarterback next year. He is so clearly, I see what he's doing. Emotions have taken over a take. And now instead of just being like, all right, I've said some stuff. I'll come back if that happens. Oh, he's quadrupling down, and it's sick. Jordan Love is cleared that bar. The other guy I wanted to mention, and this one makes more sense, is Ross Uglum, who covers the team, writes about him stuff. He's very apologetic. He's like, I want him to be good, but there are accuracy issues that after 4 years, I don't think they get fixed. Like Jordan Love's been inaccurate with some of his throws, and he doesn't think that that's something that you fix. Now, you can fix accuracy after 2-3 beers. You're a much better dart player. So you can get better at accuracy. And also, I think you can improve accuracy. I think you can. I think you can with practice. Some people are like, not everyone's gonna be fucking Hawkeye, Clint Barton. Okay. But you can be accurate. I think that Jordan Love is a good quarterback. I think that he has his fourth quarter. That's the most that I take away from anything. The fact that they were able to come back. He ran when he needed to. He just never wilted or wavered. There was no, like somebody on our stream said, on our Dan Schani YouTube post-game stream, Dan Schani Insurance. Someone said Rodgers wouldn't have won that game. He would have been so frustrated.
There are some, if you were a lawyer tasked to smear Rodgers after this game, you could put together a pretty compelling. I'm not saying it would be fair, but you could arrange the bullet points and say,
"Oh yeah, no, I kind of agree."
You could
with this young of a team, but Love is one of them. You know, they clearly love this guy. You see it in the post game. If you're a lawyer who wanted to make an argument that Jordan Love is dog shit,
could also
there's enough tape.
I don't think you can make a Jordan Love as dog shit. You can.
If you're a lawyer.
You could make a Jordan Love is super duper mid. I don't think you can make a.
Okay.
He's missing some throws. He can't seem to connect with him, and Musgrave have Rodgers MVS disease.
On Jordan Love's worst day, in his worst drive this season, there are at least 5 to 8 quarterbacks and starting quarterbacks in the NFL who have been worse than Jordan Love's worst drive. Like, the bottom 25% tier of starting quarterbacks in the league are so bad, and Love is clearly not even remotely, even at his worst, I think, in that category of, bottom 8, bottom 25%. But no,
so I guess what I'm saying is I think he's good, and I've seen enough. You can show the bad. I've seen enough of the good, where I would be happy to have him be the quarterback for many years. The only problem is in today's NFL, if that's the case, you have to give him $45 million.
That's right.
And if he's going to do that, he needs to be more, because is he going to be a top 7 quarterback? I think that I don't think we really think we're going to go from Hall of Famer. But if Jordan Love is good, and we always say Dak, because Dak is kind of floating in that tier. Yep. I would have said Tua, but now Tua is like the best player in the league.
Well,
I mean, they're playing very well.
He's the quarterback for a super genius led team, but yeah.
Daniel Jones clearly is the right in the middle of, we could do better, but we could very easily do worse. I mean, because he does play well at times. We're not like Zach Wilson territory where Joe Namath is rolling out of his grave to say, bench this fucking guy.
Yeah, that was interesting. Yeah.
So what I would ask, I think a poll question would be, who would you rather have as the Packers quarterback going forward this season? Jordan Love or Brock Purdy?
Jordan Love.
Is Brock Purdy good?
I like Brock Purdy.
But I don't. He's so system.
Jordan
but is he? But is that a insult?
I don't know.
The Niners need someone to push the ball down the field effectively, and Brock Purdy does that.
He does.
Doesn't matter if he's sidearming throws or just being like, you're open. So Grant, I guess Brock Purdy is good.
Grant, weren't you the guy that was saying that you're leading the charge against the negative, like people saying that system quarterback or game managers are bad?
Oh, yeah. I'm fighting back against the negative stigma of game managers. Game managers win football games. Those flashy
football games,
running around, toe tapping sideline, back shoulder throws are great, but do they win consistently in the postseason? I don't know. It's funny. I watched Brock Purdy in the Niners last Thursday night, and I saw Tom Brady, not because I was like, holy balls on a cat. Brock Purdy looks unbelievable, but it's 3rd and 12, and he's zinging a perfect ball to Debo on a screenplay behind the line of scrimmage, and wouldn't you know it, Debo picks it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They got some Tom Brady stuff where it's like he's checking it down on 3rd and long, and his offense is getting it.
Well, because the Niners it's never 3rd and long for the Niners. They always get 16 when they need 15.
Mm-hmm.
They always get 19 when they need 20.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of that, some of that, the
he's playing with
McCaffrey
around him.
Watching that game against the Giants, it was like, oh, it's 3rd and they got in a lot of 3rd and longs. But then McCaffrey, Debo, Jawan Jennings.
And it was never like fitting a ball deep into double coverage for 30 yards. It was a little bubble screen that Debo easily ran for 20 on 3rd and 16. It was very, very Brady-esque.
Okay.
So also, still the sample size is 3. Like, we're not counting anything prior. It's 3 games.
Right.
So some of these deep balls that are close to connecting, and there was the one in the end zone. Who was that too? That it was underthrown. Heath. The receivers also bricked a lot of those passes.
That was a bad game for wide receivers. Packers wide receivers. So
I think we have a tendency to want to rush into answers that will be much more clear in December.
So let me ask you this question. I just pulled up like the full standings of the league just to look at all the teams. I'm going to name the starting quarterback for the team, and you're going to tell me that if you were drafting for just this season, system independent, so you don't know that Shanahan's your coordinator, you don't know that LaFleur, you don't know that Mike McDaniel, you get one, you're starting your team, and it's just for this. You're not looking out long term. You're just looking at right now, just this season. Let's count how many you would take before you would draft Jordan Love. So
okay.
Tua, yes, Tua, right? Would you take Tua first?
Nah.
No, I'd take Love.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
Well, because Tua's brains are smashed eggs.
That's not nice.
Jesus Christ.
No, I would take Tua.
I would take Tua. So we're gonna Grant, you voted against, but we're gonna go 2-1. We take
no
Tua.
Grant. Come on.
Why?
You're taking Jordan Love over Tua?
So we can say Brock Purdy is a product of his environment, but we can't maybe suggest that, I don't know, Tua benefits a little from having...
Tua's playing on you got to grade him to a scale. He's left-handed.
All right.
That's another reason I don't want him. Can we not argue Jordan Love versus Tua? I think I would just rather.
No, I think there's an argument to be made, but I think right now, and it's terrible the way that Bart said it, but you do have to take into account Tua's availability for head-related regions, which is terrible to say, but it's true. Okay, so
when you say his brain is smashed eggs.
Yeah, not even scrambled.
I would like it if you rephrase that next time. Okay, so Tua, Josh Allen. Okay,
I had egg salad this week. A sandwich. It was good.
Yes, Paul.
Mac Jones, no. I'm going to skip Aaron Rodgers, and I'm going to say Zach Wilson, no. I would take Love over Kenny Pickett, right?
Likewise.
Lamar Jackson goes over Jordan Love. And Bart, you can stop me if you disagree. Love over Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow
Deshaun
over
Watson
Jordan.
was 27-33. People forget.
Stop me if I'm Joe Burrow's over Love. So far we have 4 that you go over Love. 4 out of 8.
Burrow.
Right now we've got 4 out of 8. Anthony Richardson or Jordan Love? I'll go Love.
I just don't think I can't do that. I have to tap.
Here's a tough one. CJ Stroud or Jordan Love?
Hey, Paul.
There's not enough evidence to answer any of these questions.
No, you're just drafting, and just tell me who you would take for this season. Go ahead.
Paul was the captain of the anti-CJ Stroud strike force in draft prep, by the way.
Yeah, he was.
People have not forgotten about that.
No, nor should they. I'm going to take Jordan Love because I got to stick to the bit. We have 4 for sure. Trevor Lawrence, yes. Okay, now we're at 5. Tannehill, no, we're still at 5. Patrick Mahomes, yes, that's 6. Garoppolo, no. Herbert, yes, that's 7. Russell Wilson, no, that's still 7. So,
God, no.
Let's just keep going. So we have 7 so far through the AFC. Jalen Hurts, yes, that's 8. Dak Prescott, yes, that's 9.
I'd rather have Jordan Love.
Bart?
How can you say that already?
Because I know what Dak is, and I don't think that Dak's best is.
Oh, so you're okay.
I'm always betting on upside. Always. This is an upside.
So this is like a what's behind door number 2 thing.
This is a league that rewards great. I don't want to settle for good on my team.
Okay.
Okay, so we have 8 or 9, depending on your Dak opinion. Sam Howell would be Jordan Love. Daniel Jones, I would take Jordan Love over Daniel Jones.
Mm-hmm.
So we're at 8.
Daniel Jones slander, my God.
We're at 8.5. Jared Goff, I would take Love. Kirk Cousins, I would take Love. Fields, I would take Love.
Easily.
Ritter, I would take Love.
Ritter's not an NFL quarterback.
Derek Carr, I would take Love.
I'd take anyone over Carr.
Baker Mayfield, I would take Love. Bryce Young, I would take Love. Brock Purdy, I would take Love. Geno Smith, I would take Love.
I'd take him over Stafford.
Matt Stafford, and let's even say Kyler. So we came up with 8 or maybe only 8, maybe we're total homers, but we only came up with 8 or 9 quarterbacks that would be drafted ahead of him, right? I mean, is that that seems ridiculous? But
yeah, I think you're being homer, yeah.
But worst case you add 3, but worst case you add 3 more to that list, and you're like, no, I would take Kenny Pickett, or no, I would take Brock.
Well, there's a lot there's a lot of debates to be made.
But even if you coin flipped some of those coin flips and it went the other way, you're still only at 12 or 13. He's still in the top half of the QB you would draft right now to lead your franchise.
And he's
I'll say that he's at the top. He's a top half quarterback. I can
already and you can argue that he's 8th or 9th according to our Homer little test here. All right. Any other thoughts on?
Yeah, I'm not ready to. When my friend was telling me last week, texting that he is terrible at the deep ball, I'm not ready to go there, but I'm also not ready to say he's a top 10 quarterback right now.
Well, then Paul go? Well, sorry, I'm looking at the list. You can hear me, right?
Oh, you have your notes, yeah.
I have my notes. So, okay. Well, we can move on.
I don't know. He's 12. Is that good?
Well, I mean, that seems like if you put a couple guys who are coin flips ahead of him, he's still 12th. And that would mean that you'd probably be putting Purdy ahead of him. You'd be putting Pickett or Carr or Goff. Some of maybe the coin flippy ones.
I'd say he's in the. You can make arguments. He's in the Stroud, Pickett, Purdy.
Pickett.
No, he's not in the Pickett tier. Pickett is a tier below.
What can I ask you guys this?
So I feel like I'm higher on these other quarterbacks. It's not I'm lower on Jordan. I'm higher on these other guys.
What would be your most hardcore shocking? I would take Jordan Love over this guy. Like who's the one quarterback that you would take Jordan Love over that most people wouldn't? Like you got to have one, right? Like I was like, I think I'd take him over Tua.
Well, it sounds like Bart and I would disagree on Pickett. I would
No, Rodgers.
I would do the same. I would take him over, even like anything like not in football aside.
I don't know. I'm not even like saying I would take him over Pickett or Pickett over Love. I'm saying that's a 30-minute conversation, not a Pickett.
Well, you can give it a gut reaction. I would take him over. I don't think it's controversial to say you take Love over Deshaun Watson.
But I'm not in sports radio right now. I don't do gut reactions. I'm in podcasting where it's long form discussion.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Everyone in podcasts, like it's good that we could sit down and do this in long form.
No,
98% of conversations that happen on podcasts do not need long form. All of these things that are talked about on podcasts can be done in 3 minutes.
Yeah, that's why I've always felt like this is basically a sports radio show, right? It's just a podcast.
I think the most controversial ones
delivery service.
Grant, to answer your question,
I can say fucking titties and scrambled eggs.
Yes, Paul.
The controversial ones would probably be Pickett, Watson, Stroud.
Oh no, Watson's ass.
Watson's cooked.
I'm with you. I wonder if you ask like a good sample of NFL fans, you get Watson or you get Love. Like, would Love win that poll?
Yeah, you're gonna tweet this, aren't you? And you're gonna ponder the wording for the next 24 hours before you finally.
Yeah, and you're gonna send us 9 examples.
Any other controversial ones? I mean, Toby would take Love over Howell, right? Even Toby would, right?
Toby would not. No way.
Howell's kind of a fun one. I'm kind of excited to see what he is.
It's a tough week for Toby to say Sam Howell after throwing 4 picks and losing by 40.
But he'll have that per game.
Yeah, no, I know. I know.
Do you think Jordan Love loses a game by 40 at some point this season?
No.
You think Daniel Jones versus Love, that's controversial? That's got to be controversial to go Love, right?
No. I know what Daniel Jones is.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that he's not going to be anything more than that. This is a league you have to bet on upside always.
And now that Daniel Jones has been memed, it's
with
the Niners defense.
I would also, on the topic of the Giants, I like Brian Dable a lot, but I don't know when it happened last year. He just ended up as a top 10 coach, just like that. And I just don't like when we do that to guys, because now we got to turn around and say Brian Dable wasn't as good as we all thought, but he never should have been put in those places. I don't know.
I'm going to pause the recording for 40 seconds so I can go hug my son goodbye.
Okay.
I mean, you can leave it going. Paul and I can BS.
We are remotely capable.
All right, go ahead. Ask your next question.
Grant, I don't know what to do. Bart left. I feel like
come on. Don't be Tim Shea about it.
I don't know what to do. Grant, I don't think I'm going to go to this in long form, but here's what I think.
You like long form. It's always long form with you. Yes. What were you going to say?
I was pondering, and I want to ask you guys this question maybe in a week or 2 or 3, but who the non-Jordan Love Packers MVP is so far?
That's a fun one. I mean, shoot.
Name some contenders for that list. Rashawn Gary, because he's just having a 3-sack game, but he's not playing a lot. But when he's playing, he's super impactful. Kenny Clark.
I'd say Dobbs.
Dobbs, because he's carried the wide receiver group. Yeah.
Well, I just think Aaron Jones is their guy that they can 100% trust. Like on 3rd and 1, they can hand him the ball and think he's going to get it. They can tell him to go run an angle route or to do something. Like you can 100% trust that Aaron Jones is going to be in the right position and execute and catch the ball most likely. And I don't really think you can, well, we saw on Sunday, you can't trust Jaden Reed yet to do that all the time. Saw in Atlanta, you can't trust AJ Dillon. Even just in week 1, Packers 3rd down against the Bears early on at Soldier Field, and Romeo Doubs is getting open, making the catch. Like he's just been really good. And it hasn't been sexy and flashy, maybe like Christian Watson can be at his best, but he's just been so effective.
Would it be like if you did a poll on this? Would it be so? Bart, we're not going to ask the question, but we're going to think about it for future weeks. Packers MVP. That's not Jordan Love so far. I think the contenders are Dobbs, Kenny Clark, Rashawn Gary, and who would be a fourth consideration? Zach Tom.
I mean, Rasheed Walker's been pretty damn good the last 2 weeks as Bakhtiari's been out.
He has. I thought about Walker. I just didn't know if because he didn't play in that first game, if that's enough to punish him. I don't know.
That's a good question.
AJ Dillon.
Reed.
You know what was cool about
my first thought was Gary, even though he's barely playing.
I think I would vote for Rashawn Gary over Dobbs slightly as the non-Jordan Love MVP so far.
Do we still how did the Saints not? How did they lose?
They suck.
They were really. I mean, they benefited from that. Oh my gosh, you guys watched the announce the speed of Rashid Shaheed. They just made a meal out of that. But that special teams touchdown was the Saints didn't do anything except for one drive for an entire game with Carr or with Winston. It was, but a special teams play like that changes everything. And it made it seem like it was a blowout when offense versus defense, it wasn't, but a 76.
Jameis, were they, I haven't watched this fourth quarter yet. Again, I'm still trying to process because they would get the ball and just not do shit.
Yeah. They just didn't do anything.
Their O-line's not any good, and they were missing all their running backs.
And Rashawn Gary, in his limited snaps, completely disrupted, Myles Garrett level disrupted.
Well,
yeah.
The Packers were on their, fifth string cornerback against Chris Olave. They should have been able to crack. And we already don't like the safeties. Although Darnell Savage, I think, has been better than a lot of people would think. He's actually been okay.
I would like to bring up something Taylor Swift related.
Oh, I have one coming here. You ready?
Yeah.
Should we move into that?
Yeah.
Grant seems extremely.
Yeah. Let's do it. Yeah.
So I was told I had to ask a Taylor Swift one. I was, of course, already pondering one. But then, Bart, you had a tweet from someone that said, "As soon as that begins, I am leaving." Well, hey,
I was doing the national Maggie and Perloff with the Weedos and the Purple Drinkers listening on board, and I thought, how I've always been you can do stuff, but you got to focus sports.
Yep.
This Taylor Swift thing, I think it's just fun. I think it's just a fun one.
It's a fun one. It's an undeniably fun one.
What I wanted to, we'll go ask your question.
Well, okay, and then what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to open the door here for you to say whatever you want on the topic while at least addressing it in a way that I find interesting. There is no bigger sports pop culture possible crossover. You cannot name a bigger needle moving crossover topic than Taylor Swift going to an NFL game. So,
if she was there for Rodgers,
well,
all bets are off because Rodgers is now a celebrity that plays football.
That's an interesting. I mean, honestly, Travis Kelce is on the verge of becoming that overnight, a celebrity.
Well, he's hosted SNL. He's got this podcast everyone loves, and Donna Kelce hit the mainstream a little bit, and everybody. But this is these memes or wherever where it's 15-year-old girls Monday morning, and all of a sudden their whole room is Chiefs shit. His jersey sales went up 400%.
Yeah.
So I don't think this is a Hollywood. I don't think this is Tom Cruise, Katie Holmes situation. What I think is he said something, she heard it, they laughed, they're well, let's meet. They met. Hey, you should come to my game. That'd be funny. I'll sit you. And then they went to dinner after. So they're not. This might spur something, but I think it was all just harmless, fun. And Taylor was up for it. I just can't. I love her, but okay. So the thing I wanted to say, because I think lots been said. Another thing that I brought up on the national show, the national show. What am I saying? Why am I saying that? Megan Burlock. Jesus Christ.
Cough, cough, cough. Cough, cough, cough.
It happened against the Bears. The Bears, who then the same calendar year had Rodgers say, I own you, then go through whatever shit they were going through. Not only do they have to go to Arrowhead after a no good, very bad, rotten week, but then Taylor Swift is there and she gets more coverage on the game than the actual Bears.
The Bears,
of course, this would happen against the Bears. That's what I might think is the funniest. The Bears. Like if this was Chiefs Dolphins, they show Taylor a little bit. If this
no,
they showed her maximum because it was against a shitty team.
It wasn't a game. They needed some story. They needed something.
It was not a game.
Yeah, exactly.
But Taylor Swift would have been the predominant conversation, even in a close game.
I don't think so. No, It's
not just that she was there. She's sitting next to Travis Kelce's fucking mom, going, "Let's fucking go."
Yeah.
And everyone knows she's an Eagles fan. Everyone knows that. People forget. I'm taking a drug.
Grant, this is your favorite topic. Mm-hmm or mm-mm?
I think. Mm-hmm.
No, no, it's not.
I think Taylor Swift is just the best.
No.
And she represents.
What are you doing?
She represents what is great about our country. And you would have to be a misogynist and an asshole to feel any differently. That's what I think about Taylor Swift. I had no problem with her being on the game. It was entertaining. It was like, oh, they gave her too much coverage. Well, it was 35-0 at halftime. Like, what did you want them to do on Fox? Kevin Burkhardt and Greg Olsen need something to talk about.
I think she's the biggest star. I forget where I heard this, but it was something like the biggest star since like 1980s Michael Jackson. Like, there's no bigger needle mover in terms of engagement and conversation than prime Michael Jackson. And so I was trying to think, like, could any athlete or any celebrity go to a concert or go to a thing that would be a bigger deal? Is there any other crossover situation where an athlete goes to a concert, where a celebrity goes to a game, where where an athlete appears in a movie? Is there anything that could happen that would be bigger than Taylor Swift going to an NFL game? I don't think so. I don't even think it's close. Like, I don't think there's any celebrity who would move the needle going into another domain, another pop culture domain than this, right?
Well, back to my thinking that I think aliens missed their window. I think Martians could have come down and bought a box, and they would have gotten less coverage than Taylor Swift. Like, at one point, they'd be like, oh, let's look at some celebrities here. Oh, there's this guy. Some aliens are here. That's pretty unique. We'll hear more about that later.
Melissa Stark is on the field.
Aaron Andrews isn't going, Patrick, you played in front of beings from another planet. What do you think?
Have you had a chance?
I don't know. I didn't see him there. That's pretty interesting.
Did you feel more pressure to throw patch to Travis Kelce in the end zone, knowing that these beings from another planet were here? No way. The question would still be about Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
I think a sitting president would have to go to an event for it to be even close to as big of a deal. But I still don't think it would be as big or bigger of a deal.
I don't think it would be. I thought about the president thing and how
3:30 is a little late. It's getting a little close to bedtime for President Biden. I have nothing but respect for the office. So President Biden.
I just meant any.
What are you doing?
He's on it. I brought up a Taylor Swift topic. Now Grant is off in his own world here. All right. Anything else to say on this, Bart? And Grant, I know you have so much more to say, but I'm going to pause you.
No, it's just I hate the Taylor Swift cycle. This is what I hate. I don't really dislike her. I don't have a problem with her. What happens is she gets with someone and they're like, oh, this is fun. And then her fans find every bit of information about this person that's ever existed ever on the internet. And one problematic thing they did one time. And then oh no, Taylor's with this person. We're so concerned. And then inevitably they're going to break up. And then her fan base will cyberbully that individual within an inch of their life. And then she'll write a song about it and we'll all go dumbo fucking nuts for it. And then she'll do it again in 8 months. And it'll be great. I love it.
It would be interesting if she wound up with a football player of all professions, of all walks of life, that it was and especially kind of like a hardcore dude football guy too. Like the Kelceys are like they're rough and tumble. They're the Kelceys.
Well, maybe she needs a real man. She's with all these emo guitar slinging fucks.
Yeah, imagine Matt Healy meeting Travis Kelce.
Right,
they are not the same.
The rumored one before this was Matt Healy, who's a total nerd. I don't like.
She's been hanging out on the wrong side of the high school. Finally, she goes over to where the jocks and the cool kids eat.
Is there? Let's hashtag stick to sports and look at this from a sports perspective. Is there a larger fish for a professional athlete to land as a partner than Taylor Swift? Could you go in? I don't think you could go any higher. Again, to go back to the president, Kamala Harris would not be as big of a deal if you could somehow land married Kamala Harris.
How do you?
Vice President of the United States.
Well, first of all, it's Kamala.
Kamala.
Okay.
And second of all, she's very happy with Doug. And third of all, you mentioned the Taylor Swift cycle. I hope that you keep cycles in mind, specifically bicyclists, because this time of the year, things get pretty dicey during the commuting hours, especially we're not used to it getting darker earlier. Paul, get back on here for Wisconsin Bike Fed.
You look like you're ashamed to be involved with them. And I know that's not what's happening, but it looks like you're taking a stand against an advertisement.
Yeah.
I am consulting my notes.
Yeah, I know. I know that's what you're doing. But on the video, it looks like you're like, I don't stand for this message. I want kids to get drilled in the street.
All right. Go ahead. I'll look at my notes when this is done.
Turn your lights on, slow down, look around. Just don't. This is such an. I am like, the more I talk about this, the more I find myself being cognizant of how much of a terrible driver I am. Like, I've always thought I'm a good driver. I can get places fast. I know the back roads. I've always thought that, like, if you're in a car, you want to be with me. I never thought about the danger I'm doing in a car to others. So even if this message just affects me, who knows how many lives I've saved this month by not driving like a maniac. WisconsinBikeFed.com.
Bart, what's the name of the league that Manchester United plays in?
Oh, wow. Well, I'm not going to say the Premier League.
I was going to say that sarcastically before I even realized what was going on here.
So it's not.
I would refer to it as EPL.
What's the E?
English
Premier League. English Premier League.
Premier League is how
I was. Brian Windhorst went full mature on us, and he was like, "Yeah," and then the Premier League, and I was like, "All right, fuck off!" Like that's it. It's the Premier League, Brian. But he went Premier, and so I had to see what a true soccer aficionado.
It's Premier, but I'm in that.
But are you gonna go, like, if you said, "Hey, I'm gonna watch this game"? Well, what game? Oh, it's what league? It's how would you really say it?
I'd say Premier League.
You say Premier League. So you're not that mature.
I've told you my most mature thing that I do is I spell theater R-E,
which is extremely mature.
Even when it tells me not to, when it gives me the red squigglies, I say "fuck you." Fuck you, spell check.
I do not know the origin of the R-E and the ER at the end of theater. Do you know the?
Well, it's just like favorite with an OU and then.
Well, that's like
America.
That's the Canadian or the French Canadian favorite. I do know that one.
That's a Brewer one.
I think. Well, I have another. Hold on, intermission. Grant, how would you have said it?
Premier League. Premier League.
Okay. How about this? How about this one, real quick? It's a food. Pecan.
Pecan. Pecan pie.
Yeah. Okay. Pecan pie.
I hear a lot of pecan, and I think I don't get it's pecan. Pecan?
First of all, it's caramel. Before we ever get close to that discussion, it's not caramel. I don't know where people get off saying it like that.
Hey, Paul, it's pecan. You stop talking like an asshole.
Grant, there is an A in the middle of the car and the Mel. I also say caramel, but I don't know that you miss the A in the middle if you say caramel.
You know what really chaps my fucking ball sack is just let me say Jaguars.
No,
Just let me say it.
no. You said on Tuesday's episode, you said with Tim, you caught yourself. You said Falcons. I'm like, you're better.
I've commandeered to the people, and I've trained myself to say Falcons.
It sounds funny. You're not fully good at it yet. You're getting
Falcons. I hate saying it that way.
There you go.
But Jaguars is mine.
What about like how they would say it where they make the vehicles Jaguar?
Jaguar.
Yeah, Jaguar.
Jaguar.
Do you like luxury?
Last intermission. Veteran. David Bakhtiari is a 10th year blank player in the league.
Veteran.
Veteran. Yes, veteran.
But is a former member of the armed services a veteran, or are they also a veteran? Are they're spelled the same? Are these?
He's a veteran.
It's more esteemed.
Mm-hmm.
Former member of the armed services is a veteran. A player in the league, and a league is a veteran of the team, a veteran of the league. Is that how?
I think so. That tracks.
I'm teaching my kid, you know how like private parts are meant to be private.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got to shut the door, and I'm teaching him to say because he wants his privacy.
Are you going to tell him it's aluminium?
Daddy, I need my privacy.
That would be amazing.
As a society, we're getting way too loose with the phrase, I'm not privy to that information. We don't need to say that. That's too much.
How would you say it instead?
I'd say I
don't fucking know, man.
Yeah, I'm not in the loop on that. I don't know that. We're getting a little too high and mighty. Also, the usage of the word poise. It's not a bad word. I haven't heard poise my entire life. Out of every time I've heard the word poise, doesn't come close to the last 3 days. Every Packers player, every Packers media. Well, Jordan Love, he's so poised. He's so poised back there. We're just going a little nuts with the usage of that word too while we're on the subject.
I love it. I only do this podcast now so I can ask you these intermissions, and the rest is just for you guys.
We're linguists on this podcast. That's what
love it. Is it linguist or is it languists?
Languiar.
Language. All right. Lastly, Bucks Media Day is this week, right?
Are we going as a trio?
I think it's Monday, yeah.
Definitely. Like all three of us, without question, would just be welcomed with our Bart Winkler podcast.
I wish the purveyor, the owner and operator of the NBA Lounge could be there, but I don't think I'm going to be able to make it. I'll just get the latest from our friend Justin Garcia of the Bucks Radio Network.
I think I could get there if they want. I think they'd let me go.
You should, and you should have Justin on sometime.
And then put a piece of paper in front of Giannis that says, "You are listening to the Bart Winkler post game."
We'll try to do that tonight at swimming if he's there.
There you go. Bring it to swim class. All right, it's been a pleasure.
This was fun. Nice to see you both. Have a great week.
Bye.